Welcome to Nethroi, Apex of Death. As far as our opening hand goes, yes, I love it. We have a Tutor Source, a Blood Artist effect. That's going to be Life from the Loam in the Graveyard. We will keep on this one. I just got done recording a Nethroi game where we had to mulligan down to 4. And I got Nethroi out, and it was a Golos opponent. I might put it in this video, or maybe you saw it already, but we got a little Voltron commander damage going with Nethroi, simply just swinging in, so that felt pretty good. Let's lead off with we'll go and lead off with Marsh Flats, because we do want to grab a green-black source to dump that into, to dump Life from the Loam into the graveyard. That way we can get this graveyard kick-started and have a pretty good time. So, in fact, let's just go and do that now. So we're going to crack Marsh Flats. Just in case our opponent's running some 1-mana counter magic, let's go Bayou. Let's have Entomb, and then we're going to dump this Life from the Loam into the graveyard. That's basically what Entomb is in this deck. That's basic second copy of Life from the Loam. So there we go. Anything else past the turn over to our opponent. So, but yeah, swung in with Nethroi. We got in three swings unchecked, and opponent said, "That's it. I'm done. I can't have just a vanilla Death Touch lifelink creature coming across to close the game out," so that felt pretty good. So let's go and dredge Life from the Loam. We're in a good spot. Oh, look at that. Linda, Zulaport Cutthroat. Yes, yes, yes. So let's go Sun Petal Grove. And I think at this point, we can just keep ourselves open with Demonic Tutor. So let's go for Commune with the Gods. Look at the top part of our library. Ooh, Sylvan. That is a wonderful option because that's going to have a hexproof. So we're pretty much set. Good to go now. Anything else? Let's go and pass the turn over to our opponent. We're playing Nethroi, Apex of Death. Mutate for 7. Death Touch and Lifelink. Whenever this creature mutates, return any number of target creature cards with total power 10 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So if you're keeping score at home and you have a bunch of zeros in the graveyard, 0 plus 0 plus 0 equals however many you want to bring back with Nethroi. So, pretty cool. Playing against Horde of Notions, and we run into the new Triome. Look how good that art is. Oh, that looks good. All right, so I think at this point we'll go for Life from the Loam. Yeah, let's go do that. Let's bring back Marsh Flats. Let's go Polluted Delta. Yeah, because, we are looking at maybe hard casting Falconwrath Noble. What we might end up grabbing with Demonic Tutor is a sack outlet. That way we can at least kind of force the Falconwrath Noble into the graveyard. That might be a pretty good spot. So let's go and lead off with Triome, and then anything else we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. We are playing against Horde of Notions. Vigilance, Trample, and Haste. Then for a Wooburg activation, you may play target elemental card from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. So, cover both commanders. Let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors. TCG Player, if you go to bit.ly/Jolt MTG, that will allow you to get some cards and kind of chip in some mana to my mana pool on the back end. So if you do that, hey, much obliged. And opponent's going to go for a Crucible of Worlds. So we got some good setting up to do. So we might end up, we'll still dredge Life from the Loam. Because basically Life from the Loam in a deck like this, and I'll kind of go into this talk here in just a second, and I do like this. So let's do this. So we go Sylvan. That's going to get us ahead on mana. We can also get some extra lands in the graveyard too. So let's go and get this popped out. Let's grab Scrubland. Let's go for Sylvan. And let's go Life from the Loam on these 2 lands. It helps if one of those tap for green. There we go. We're going to bring those back to the hand, and then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. But yes, give a quick shout out to TCG. Also, MTGOTraders. If you're going to play the brand new set, MTGOTraders is pretty much the only way to play Commander right now with the new cards that came out. So be sure to check them out. Also, if you go to inkgaming.com/Jolt, that will apply my coupon code over there. So if you're in the market for a playmat or anything like that, hey, chip some extra mana into the mana pool. And last but not least, I started a Patreon. So if you'd like to support cool content like this, there's a link down in the description below and get your name in the credits in the beginning or the ending, or some variation of that. And if you're keeping score at home, it's I think it's safe to say it's officially free time. So, all right, so we're going to see K come down. Okay, yeah, there's probably just a little tribal effect in there. But as far as, let's jump into our graveyard as soon as we get our turn going. So let's go and go for one more dredge, Life from the Loam. One of the good things about dredging in a deck like this of Nethroi, especially if you're looking to build it, is just for the fact that you see so many cards with Life from the Loam. It's just such a nice effect. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 6 for the land drop. We don't really have enough to close the game out. We do have a very nice graveyard setup. We do need to do a little bit more setting up. So if we can make the land drop, we can also bring some extra lands back too. So let's go Marsh Flats. Let's go for Falconwrath Noble, because just having that extra Aristocrats package, or that extra Aristocrats piece, I should say, it really makes a huge difference in trying to close the game out. So, let's have Falcon Wrath Noble come down. Opponent should know what's up, what's happening once that Falcon Wrath comes down. Let's go ahead and grab. Is there anything that comes into play without damage? Yeah, there we go. We'll grab Savannah. Let's go Life from the Loam again on Marsh Flats. And then that should set us up for a really nice Nethroi next turn. There we go. Anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. So we are looking at Nethroi mutating onto Sylvan. And also, if you don't know, this Nethroi deck, this is a 100% Abzan Aristocrats. You know, what is Aristocrats? That is using some sort of effect like Falcon Wrath Noble. Whenever a creature dies, target player loses a life and you gain a life. And then using it to bring back a ton of creatures on the battlefield, sacrificing those creatures, exile it. This is what I was talking about, setting up a sack outlet. We could protect it, but we're still good. We've got Zulaport in the graveyard, so a little bit of a bummer, but they're going to burn some removal on old Falcon Wrath over there. We'll certainly take it. But yeah, right now in our graveyard, we've got a really good Aristocrats package going. We've got everything that we need. It's kind of like starting a garden. We just need to add more fertilizer to it. We need some more creatures for Nethroi to play with as soon as we bring them out. So we're still going to be on that gameplay. Now, we do have Demonic Tutor, and we're at the point now where we have a ton of mana. And so we might, yeah, let's still go and dredge Life from the Loam. Let's see what we rip into. Because unfortunately, we did miss on Buried Alive very early on in the game. Bloodthorn Vampire. Yeah, let's go for Demonic Tutor. We might be able to set up a little bit more of a stout graveyard. So let's get this popped out and see what's really going to help us out. Now, one of the things that we could do is some sort of amplifying effect. I think at this point, one of the better options that we can go for, and if we have the mana for it, we need to start digging. Yeah, we can make the land drop. One of the best things that we can be doing right now is going to be Doom Whisper. So let's grab Doom Whisper. That's really going to help us push our Aristocrats, because we just basically need a few more creatures in there. So let's go for not Deathrite, but let's go for Doom Whisper. I'd love it if Deathrite Shaman somehow mutated into Doom Whisperer. That'd be pretty sweet. Let's have Doom Whisperer come down. That's going to be 6/6 with Surveil, and then anything else we will pass the turn. So we are looking at a mutate trigger next turn as long as our opponent doesn't have some sort of board wipe. We still will be able to set up a really nice graveyard with Doom Whisperer, because at this point, we're really not under any pressure from our opponent. We're sitting at 24. We've got a cat swinging across at us. That's going to put us down to 21. So at the very least, we're looking at basically pay 2 life, put 10 cards into the graveyard. So we can go all the way down to 1 if we want to. All right, Path to Exile. They're going to force the issue. Let's go and go for some Surveil. At this point, we're just looking for more bodies in the... Oh, yeah. All right, so now we're starting to get somewhere with a really good Aristocrats graveyard. Let's go and go for another activation, because really pretty much the only thing that we're looking for right now is going to be some free real estate creatures. That's kind of what we need to happen right now to really kind of set the tone. But between Alinda and Teysa, I think we're going to be able to close it out, especially with us hitting that Poison Tip Archer. Let's go and put that into the graveyard. Let's go and go for one more activation off of Doom Whisperer, and we're going to be aggressive because they've got 3 mana, potentially 4 mana, and so there we go, another free creature, we'll take that. Let's go for one more Doom Whisperer. Oh, yeah. All right, so now we're about to have some fun. Oh, I might accidentally put Birds of Paradise on top. That might have been my fault. Let's go for one more activation with Surveil. Put that into the graveyard. Oh, and then Hollowed Spirit Keeper. Okay, so now we've got something moving. And let's go one more go just to see what we've got. Oh, dang it. Sorry about that. I just now realized I did that. Put that into the graveyard, and we're officially set. So, there we go. This is going to be Doom Whisperer. We're going to get an extra land on the graveyard. Definitely want to use that ability. Let's grab ourselves Forest, and then next turn, we're going to be able to set up a very nice Nethroi trigger, assuming that our opponent doesn't have any sort of spot removal. So, or not spot removal, but some sort of board wipe. Okay, we're just going to see Anar come down, and we're going to be able to close this one out. So let's get this graveyard popped down. So right off the bat, one of the things that you're looking for in a Nethroi Aristocrats package is some sort of amplifying effect. We've got Zulaport in the graveyard, we've got Alinda in the graveyard, and we also have Teysa. We do have some other interesting effects that allow us to really kind of amplify the creatures that we're working with Collar of the Claw and Hollowed Spirit Keeper. So we're going to be able to close it out next turn. Just kind of depends on what's the best package that we ended up going for. But let's get this Aristocrats going. It's going to be pretty nice. So we'll make the land drop. That's going to be Forest for the turn. And then, oh yeah, this is good. Actually, we'll just go for Woodland Cemetery. So let's get our graveyard popped out, because it's going to be a little bit easier for us to kind of work with this. There we go. So let's go Nethroi. We're going to cast for the Mutate. Because if you cast it normal, you can certainly do that, but you're going to be a sad camper on that one. Not very happy about how that turns out. All right, so we're gonna go for Nethroi. We're gonna put Nethroi on top because a Nethroi on top's better. And then let's get our Nethroi triggers going. So at this point right now, we do want a Linda because that's basically free. That's going to be 1. Zulaport Cutthroat's going to be 2. We do need a sack outlet, so that's going to be 3. Let's see. There's going to be Poison Tip Archer. That's going to be 4. That's going to be 6 with that. 7, 8 with Tesa. So now we've got access to 2 more. One of the things that we can do, and Incubation Druid is going to be 3 free. If we have 2 left, then we'll just end up doing is just going for Caller of the Claw. I think that'll be good. So that's going to be 10 power. Let's go and bring back Birds of Paradise. And that's also, I think there was one more free creature potentially. Maybe it was just Birds of Paradise. I could be missing it. No, yeah, Incubation Druid. So we are looking at, actually 9 is our total power and toughness. But yeah, Caller of the Claw, I kind of like this interaction. We'll just go and grab another sack outlet just to be safe. All right, so we're going to click OK. Let's get the graveyard pop back into the graveyard. And let's go to town. Let's have some fun. We're pretty much free to win the game at this point right now. So now one of the things, we have this Caller of the Claw trigger on the stack. We're going to leave this. We want to leave this here. So I'm going to show you some fun stuff that you can do with it. Oh, and actually, I'm glad that we brought back Bloodthorn Vampire. Almost didn't bring back a sack outlet. All right, so let's go ahead and sack. Oh, that's a bad play right there. Let's go and sacrifice Incubation Druid, and look at all these beautiful triggers. Now these are going to be normally we'd have 3 triggers because of a creature dying, but with Teysa on the battlefield, it's going to amplify these creatures. So let's go and always yield to this trigger, always yield to this trigger, and then always yield to the Zulaport trigger. So there we go. And I think that should be, there we go. All right, so we're going to have that trigger go on the stack. And with Caller of the Claw, it says, hey, whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you put a token on the battlefield for each creature put into the graveyard from the battlefield this turn. So what we can do essentially is sacrifice all of these creatures. We're going to get all these triggers that go on the stack, and since we already have 2 creatures in the graveyard, that's going to be an extra Caller of the Claw trigger. That's going to be more tokens. Now in this scenario, it doesn't really matter, but let's say there are some games where you need to get some extra creatures going, different things like that. We're going to let this Caller of the Claw trigger resolve. That way you can kind of see how good it is with something like Teysa. So there we go. Let's get these triggers to resolve. We'll let this Bloodthorn Vampire trigger go through, and I'll show you how Caller of the Claw. Now imagine that we sacrificed the entire board state and left up a sack outlet, and you get those bear tokens on the battlefield. So look at that. So that's one of the ways that you can kind of really amplify it. And of course, the best way would have been to sacrifice everything other than our essential combo pieces. But that's how you can set up the trigger off your initial Nethroi trigger, is by leaving that Caller of the Claw trigger on the stack, and then sacrificing your creatures and letting everything resolve like that. So the other cool thing is, I'm going to show you this too, with Alinda, is such a good card in a deck like this because it allows you to end up with so many tokens. Look at all these triggers. We've got 10 on there. If we go to sacrifice Alinda, that's going to be double triggers from Teysa. Let's put these Zulaport triggers on the stack first. Oh, look at this. And let's get these double Alinda triggers. Let's always yield to that. We're basically end up with, I think, 22 tokens on the battlefield. Oh, look. Oh, this is just beautiful. Then we can sacrifice these. And that's going to be sacrifice one more creature. We're going to sacrifice one of these vampires. And then that should be game. There we go. But look at that. That's how you can close the game out with Aristocrats. If this was a multiplayer setting, you can see where if we efficiently sacrifice all of our creatures and set up a really nice Caller of the Claw, set up a really nice Alinda, you can see where we could drain the entire table. Our opponent was sitting at 30. Now, with the Aristocrats package, one thing that you do need to watch out for is whenever another creature dies, each opponent loses 1 life. Zulaport and like Falcon Wrath and this is what it is, Falcon Wrath and Blood Artist, they say target player. So as long as you have something like Poison Tip Archer on the battlefield or Zulaport, it's going to drain the table at once. But you can see, as long as you have some variation of just, free creatures and amplifying effects, you can definitely close the game out. But that was beautiful. I love it. Hey, if you enjoyed it, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Welcome to Nethroi, Apex of Death. As far as opening hand goes, we have a Temple Garden. So let's go ahead and mulligan on this one. Other than that, I love it. Same thing with this one. We're off color with Deathrite Shaman. So let's go ahead and go one more mulligan. And ew, man, I don't even know if we can keep on this one. Let's go one more mulligan, ship it back, and we will keep on this one because I think we need to put 3 cards back. So let's put the Phyrexian Altar back. We'll put Viscera Seer, and yeah, I guess Chromatic Lantern. I mean, because at this point, could almost reach with 3 lands. I mean, all right. All right, so anything else, we're going to click OK, and our opponent is on the play. So a little bit of a rough start to Nethroi. It's kind of like we fell in Nethroi's litter box and got some Blood Artist cards on our face. And but anyways, welcome to some Nethroi. I hope you're excited. Let's go and lead off with Forest, I think. Yeah, that'll be fine. Lead off with Forest, and then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. We're playing Nethroi, Apex of Death, 5 total mana, mutate for 7, then Death Touch and Lifelink. Whenever this creature mutates, return any number of target creature cards with power 10 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So if you've got a bunch of 0/0 creatures in there, that's some good magic right there. Do we want to... Yeah, I mean, honestly, if we mana crypt with Kodama's Reach, yeah, I like this. If we mana crypt with Kodama's Reach, at least we're getting 2 basics out of the library, and we're not drawing into those 2 basics. So that's going to be my, and we'll see if our opponent. I doubt our opponent's going to scoop to mana crypt, but if you know, sometimes on fast mana and commander in 1v1, you can get your opponent to scoop sometimes, and so if we can get a W that way, hey, I'll take it. So I'm not above that one. I was going to go for Kodama's Reach. Just going to grab 2 basics. We do have Urborg coming down, and so cycles. Okay. So they're going to cycle the Wandering Monster, get him back in there. I'm excited to see what our opponent's got going on. We definitely see some of the new cards in there. But yeah, since we do have Urborg, we can probably just end up grabbing a double Forest on this. Yeah, that'll be all right. Get both of those forests down. 1 forest onto the battlefield, 1 forest into our hand. Let's make the land drop for the turn. That will be Woodland Cemetery. And then anything else, pass the turn over to our opponent. Playing against Golos, Tireless Pilgrim. Whenever Golos enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a land card, put it on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle your library. Then for a 7 mana activation, exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play them this turn without paying their mana cost. So, pretty nifty. I'm just going to choose Tails on this Mana Crypt trigger. And, you know, we could have waited on Mana Crypt, but, you know, if there's 2 less cards we're going to draw off that Kodama's Reach, hey, I'll take it. And there we go. Run into Overgrown Tomb. So, I mean, at this point, we could just Nethroi and just get a clock going. I'm sure this is probably our opponent's like, power creep. But yeah, Death Touch and Lifelink 5/5. I mean, in 5 more turns, we got commander damage. So let's have Nethroi enter the battlefield, and then anything else, we will pass the turn over to our opponent. So we did cover both commanders. Give a quick shout out to our sponsors, TCG Player. If you go to bit.ly/Jolt MTG, that will apply my affiliate link and allow you to get some cards. And if you want to chip in some extra mana to my mana pool, hey, much obliged. It's just Tails on this one. I'm kind of thinking that we might be able to just... Oh, goodness. All right, so we rip another land. Let's go and swing in for a 5/5. If we can get a commander damage win in 5 turns, because our opponent's sitting at 3 lands, this will be pretty good. Let's have Overgrown Tomb enter the battlefield, and then we will pass the turn over there. But yeah, for sure, check out TCG Player. Also, let's give a quick shout out to MTGOTraders. If you want to play the brand new set, at least in Commander, MTGO is kind of your only spot right now. And actually, let's just see. We're just going on commander damage win. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. All right, let's go and choose Tails on this one. I want to show you how to play Nethroi Volt. That's Yahini. I mean, that's a hasty option. Let's have Yahini come down, coming in hot. It's going to be 1/2. And we might be able to jam this out. I kind of like this. Let's go Yahini. And if we rip into just anything that floods the board, we might be, you know, because our opponents missed their land. We're on turn 5 and they hadn't made their land drop. So let's see if we can't get this. I'd like to get a Nethroi. I'd like to show you how to build Nethroi Voltron. It's always a fun way to take a dab. All right, we got the crew coming in. That's going to be 7 coming across. There we go. Coming across for 7. That's going to put them down into 10 commander damage. And anything else, we pass turn over there. See if they hit the land drop for the turn. I think they've missed at least 3 in a row. You know, there's just sometimes where, you know, if you put the pressure on early with Nethroi, you get a Nightmare Cat out there. Our opponent's going to scoop it up on that one. Good game to our opponent. So this is the exact way that you can build Nethroi Voltron. You just get it down and start swinging in and wait for your opponents to miss their land drop. So not the best game out there, but hey, I might splice it on another one. But that's a W with Nethroi, and it's a great way to start the day. So if you enjoyed the video, hey, like and subscribe. Thanks, bye.